What's going on, guys, and welcome to the first ever BFR. The BFR, if you've not heard from me say in previous videos, is for Blackhawks fan review or reaction, depending on which one. Steve Dangle says reaction. I might do review and reaction, whichever one you please. As both really work in this case, because uh, either way, I'm just reviewing the game. I'm gonna give my reaction to it. I'm gonna do these the day after because it gets to the point I have school in the mornings on most mornings, so. On most days, I'll be doing it the day after school. If I have time, I'll do it in the night. But like last night's game, when I think I turned off the TV at 10:30 after like the post game stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to get ready for like the day tomorrow and go to bed so I can wake up in the morning. So yeah, the first preseason game. I'm not gonna. I'd use the whiteboard for preseason. I'm not going to use the whiteboard just to make things easier. And they're not games that don't really matter, but we got some pretty good action out of the Hawks today, but some out of their new players. The lines were today not today, yesterday as followed. Yeah, on the first line, Kubalik, Tays, and Kurashev. On the second line, Hagel, Doc, and Connolly. On the third line was Reichel, Borgstrom, and Nylander. On the fourth line was Chiara and Whistle and Gaudet. And that's going from left wing to right wing, center in the middle. Then on the first D pair was Stillman and Murphy. Second, Jones, Kalnuk. Third, Phillips and Bodan. And Lankinen played the entire game. Detroit showed that this was pretty much their B team. They showed that they're going to be competitive this year. They might make a push for the playoffs with the amount they've had. I know it's preseason, but this was their B team, and they looked pretty good out there. And it wasn't fantastic until the late pushes in the third period, but we'll get to there. It started off, the Hawks didn't look good early at all. They had a close call. Lankinen was able to cover it up. Reichel almost connected with Borgstrom, so that was a pretty good way to start Reichel off. I thought played really well tonight. He might have earned himself a spot on the roster. But at 13:33, I'm going to say this as the time on the clock. I'm not saying at 13 minutes and 33 seconds into the period. I'm saying 13 minutes and 33 seconds left in the period. So if anyone wants to get used to that, that's how I'm going to be doing it. At 13:33 of the first period, Detroit scores. Shots were dominating early by Detroit. It was 6-0 after 5 minutes with shots. And Michael Rasmussen scores from Adam Ernie to make it 1-0. And yeah, it was kind of just here we go again. This could be a long season, but it didn't prove to be that way. Little later at 12:53, Detroit penalty to Rasmussen for tripping. The power play was not great for Chicago. Gaudet had a chance, was saved. Later had a post on a. It was a fantastic move around a defender. Went behind his back, through his legs, and shot it. Double doinked off both posts. Not both posts. The crossbar and the post, really close. But then at 3:10. It's Kubalik who scores on a backhand. He had tons of time. Like the defense wasn't going after them from Tays and Kurashev. Tays played first game back since the game 5 of the 2020 bubble against Vegas, and he looked pretty good out there. You could tell he was getting a little tired by the end of the second and the third, but he showed. I think he can play the way he was. He played the most of any Blackhawks forward last night. So yeah, Tays and Kurashev with the assist. It was 1-1. And then we go to the second period. Detroit hit the post. Incredible save by Lankinen. It was basically behind him, and he basically like turned off and was just trying. Basically like did this, and was able to like elbow it out of the air. And then at 17:52 of the second, Brandon Hagel scored to make it 2-1 from Kirby Dach and Caleb Jones. Seth Jones did not play last night. Caleb Jones did. Gets on the board. And then right after that, at 16:15, about a minute and a half later, Jujhar Khaira scores on a deflection to make it 3-1 from Murphy and Entwistle. And then right after that, less than 30 seconds later, at 15:47, Mitchell Stevens from Detroit got acquired from Tampa. Has a shot that sneaks through Lankinen. Lankinen's first 2 goals were pretty not great. And it makes it 3-2 from Hyros and Bobby Ryan, who's on a professional tryout. And then at 13:16, Detroit had a penalty for too many men on the ice. The Hawks' second power play, definitely better than their first. They got some pretty good looks on there. And then that one expires 7:59 Detroit penalty to Michael Rasmussen again, this time for cross-checking. It was about as good as the second power play. Doc hit the post, and Reichel had a good chance. And then it was right before that Calvin Pickard came into the game. Thomas Gray subbed out right around halfway through the second, and then Calvin Pickard came in. Calvin Pickard hasn't been in a backup since Colorado like 4 or 5 years ago. He played phenomenally. When I say phenomenally, incredible last night. He was my number one star of the game, without question. There was a good save on Dennis Yan by Lankinen after that. Entwistle had a good chance. It was saved by Pickard. Then there was a point-blank save by Lankinen right in front of the net. He was able to get it. And so we move on to the third period. To start the third, Bobby Ryan had a cross-checking penalty. And they kind of got the wrong guy. I'm not sure if it really was a penalty. It didn't look like that much to me. But not only did Bobby Ryan go to the box for a penalty that didn't look like a penalty, he didn't even commit it. It was his other teammate that was right next to him, and they mixed them up. Kubalik hit the post. Adam Ernie then, right when that penalty ended, went off for hooking for the Hawks' fifth power play. Nothing amounted. The Hawks had 5 power plays. They went 0 for 5. So some of the power plays, they looked good on the setup, but it just wasn't clicking. And there was another close call saved by Lankinen. So this is a good save by Lankinen there. I'm looking at my notes down here. If you're wondering, I took notes on the game, and I'm kind of like the hockey guy. You could see, kind of my inspiration right now. There was a post for Lashoff of Detroit. Connolly had a good chance. Blackhawks penalty went to Entwistle. And at 9:40 at the third, and it was for interference, and it was not a good call at all. Like he barely like. Imagine Entwistle's here, the guy behind him came and skate, and like he was like this, and they called it interference. Like he didn't even like move or have a chance to move. He kind of just ran into him, and he got called for it. I guess that was makeup for that previous call, so that probably was why. Stillman had a really good hit on a Detroit guy in the defensive zone. Khrushchev did an amazing move. He went through 3 guys and just couldn't get a shot off. He was so close. Then on the next play, incredible save by Lankinen. Carr was bleeding at 2:16 left in the third period. You could see like they had the trainer with the stuff, and you could see there was a mark on his nose. You could tell he had been bleeding. Then with 150, exactly 2 minutes left, the extra attacker came on, and then at 1:51 left in the period, Bobby Ryan scores to make it 3-3 with the extra attacker from Ernie and Chronic. That pretty much, I knew the Hawks were losing that game after that. As soon as that happened, I knew the Hawks were losing that game. And then in OT, Pickard and Lankinen traded great stops to start. Murphy and Kubalik had a 2-on-1 save by Pickard, and then there was another 2-on-1. It was, I forgot who. I think it might have been, was it Kalnick and Hagel? Maybe it was one of those two, or maybe Reichel. I don't remember. And then the game was going really fast in overtime, so I was trying to take the notes of this. And there was one timer to Hagel. Hagel shoots it, perfect spot. Pickard makes one of the greatest saves I've ever seen with his pad, with the toe of his pad. I thought the game was over. I was about to start cheering, and it was an incredible save. With 9 seconds to go, the puck stopped on the goal line. It snuck through Pickard within the last 9 seconds. Pickard was like, I think the whistle had gone, so it wouldn't have counted, but the puck was just rolling, and it literally, I'll use my phone as an example. The puck stopped. It wasn't like flat like this. It literally stopped on the goal line like this, and just it makes you wonder, how does that happen? It just stopped. Like it was rolling, then it just stops. It was incredible. And yeah, nothing really happened after that. We went to a shootout, and the Hawks started. Taze was the first shooter as usual. He scored. Then Adam Ernie went for Detroit. He scored. Lucas Reichel got the second chance and he scored. Pickard really did not seem any interested in Reichel's shot. He barely even tried to make the save, it looked. Then Michael Rasmussen went for Detroit. He missed. Khrushchev went and had a chance to win. He missed. High Rose went for Detroit then in the third round and scored to keep Detroit in the game. Then Doc went, kind of tried to stick handle, and then it just flew off his stick and went right into Pickard. Useless attempt. And that would be the downfall of the Hawks, as Bobby Ryan not only got the tying goal, but with the winner in the shootout. With the 3-2, and the Detroit wins 3-2 in a shootout. The overall score 4-3 Detroit in a shootout. Shots were 40-33 in favor of Chicago. On the power play, Chicago was 0-5, Detroit was 0-1. And then Lankinen stops 30 for 33 in the overtime loss, shootout loss. Grice saves 12 of 15, and Pickard saves 25 for 25. Phenomenal game by Pickard. Last but not least, before I just want to say a few things, Reichel looked really good. I thought Reichel and Gaudette were my two guys I was watching, and they were making plays. They were playing well. Reichel had the speed. He could be a star in this league. Gaudette showed that the Hawks might have won that Highmore-Gaudette trade with Vancouver, as he was making good plays, good moves. He can make his spot as a fourth-line player. It may be a third line if anyone gets injured. Borgstrom was doing well in the face-off zone. He did pretty well in the face-offs. I didn't circle his name, but I mentioned Taze led the forwards in ice time. The one person I was disappointed with was Phillips. He's a top 4 defenseman on the Rockford Ice Hogs, the Hawks minor league affiliate. His passes were just really hard. And I'm saying hard to get, but they literally were physically hard. You could hear them a lot different. They weren't soft and easy. They were just hard passes, and I didn't like that from Phillips. Other than that, that's really all I have. Just it's preseason. I can't really react to a game that has no meaning. But overall, decent start for the Hawks. I mean, the big expectations this year for both Chicago and Detroit. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, thanks for watching the first ever BFR. Look for one on Saturday or maybe Friday night if I can get it done. I'm also going to a high school football game that night, so I might not, but we'll see. And then you got Saturday. Saturday is the Hawks game is going to be in St. Louis. It's going to be near Kansas City. They're not playing in St. Louis. St. Louis will be the home team, but they're playing in Independence, Missouri, I believe, and it'll be the only preseason game not televised. So I'll find some scraps and stats and whatever to do a BFR on that one. So we'll see how those go. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Look for at least 88 BFRs this year. This will be one because 6 preseason games, 82 regular season games, and if they make the playoffs, I'll do those for them. It's earlier today. I'd like to thank Steve Dangle and the Hockey Guy for inspiring me to do this stuff. And I hope you all have a good night. Thanks for watching.